I'm sure Glenn will introduce us to him. No. Hi. I'm sure they'll introduce him to the rest of council. Has he? Oh, okay. Yes, now I remember and know the name. Okay, so call the meeting to order. Is there any additions to the agenda? I'll go to you first, Rudy.
Good morning, Reeve and Council. Several additions that we have for you. First of all, first thing this morning at some point, we're planning on having a brief presentation. Drayton Valley Learning Association wants to present council with a certificate, so it's our expectation that that will be worked in first thing. On the delegation side, just for council to note that on 7D Public Hearing Bylaw 1200-25, we have provided additional information for you on that file, and that will come up during public hearing. And also, my apologies to council, I forgot to note a brief closed session that we have. We'll mark that as 16A. It will be FOIP 25 land, RE Hilltop Acres. And that's all I have, Reeve.
Thank you. Anybody else? Glenn?
Did I press the button?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Online, Kara or Anthony?
I have no additions.
Thank
No
you.
additions, thank you.
Thanks. Alrighty. The motion then to approve the agenda with the additions Rudy outlined. Dallas?
Yeah, Reeve, I'll move to adopt the agenda as amended.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, carried unanimous. Okay, we've got a few delegations coming in. That'll be later. So we've got the minutes of council meeting, February 4th. Any errors or omissions? Any comments? Online, any comments?
No, I move the adoption as presented.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Anthony?
In favor.
Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay. Follow-up action list, Rudy, any things you want to point out?
Just a couple of items, Reeve. We will have an update report on the cost of rehabilitation for Township Road 495. That came up late in the fall. We've been asked by council to provide a draft policy or bylaw restricting the creation of landlocked parcels. We've got a draft that council is able to discuss today. The Code of Conduct workshop is confirmed for March 26th, and we've updated the work on the FIN 7 policy.
Okay, motion to approve the follow-up action list as presented. Donna?
I move that the follow-up action list be approved as presented.
Very good, thank you. Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Anthony?
I vote in favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Public hearings at 10. We've got the Roots of Resilience. So they're just going to show up, or they're going to be here at right at 10:30? The Roots of Resilience. Trish is here. Oh.
So we've got the Drayton Valley Learning Center Association is here now.
Oh, okay. Do you wanna come forward right now? We'll get that done so that you're not sitting here listening to us if you don't want to. So you come up to the microphone there.
Okay.
And this, about 6 inches is where the audio picks up really good.
Here?
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you.
Okay. I'm here to present the Certificate of Appreciation to the Brazeau County for participating in the campaign run by DV Learning and myself, Trish Wiersma. What it consisted of collecting socks and sweaters and hoodies. I've been doing this for several years, but never the hoodies and the socks. I ended up with coats and things and like over 200 coats and hoodies and you name it, and 815 pairs of socks. So we did very well. Your video was great, awesome, but you didn't win. But you did a really good video. The hoodies that you sent were gorgeous. They were received wonderfully, so that was really good. And they went to Opportunity House.
They went where?
Opportunity House,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I'm here to present this certificate of appreciation to all of you.
Well, because all of council were involved, we'll get all of council over here for Photoshop. Yeah, do a photo back there, a little bit here. We'll Photoshop Anthony and Kara in that photo. Okay, we're on Range Road 81, Dunnington Pit to Township Road 474. Is Andy going to be making this presentation?
I'll be just helping out with that.
I'm just saying your name again so I don't forget it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
21.
Good morning, Council.
Morning.
Here to discuss Range Road 81 from Dunnington Pit to Township 474 and potential alternative. And yeah, we have Andy, our construction supervisor here. He's joining me as the subject matter expert on this one. And we're looking to proceed with an alternative option with access to Anderson Pit for future development. Under the topic defined, you see two past previous motions. The last one being move to direct administration to proceed with the construction of Range Road 81 from Township 474 to the Dunnington Pit with an additional $821,105 coming from the road's restricted reserve account. And there was a previous motion to that. It was a smaller one to do work on a lease road, and there was a budget of $500,000, and it mentioned a cost share with Jones Trucking. Just wanted to point out that Jones Trucking are using an alternative pit now and no longer doing that cost share, as well as it, from what I understand, that $500,000 wasn't hard cash. It was, in lieu of equipment and materials. So that currently there's a carryover amount of $1,287,500. So proposals were received from various proponents for the design and construction of the undeveloped section of Range Road 81, including the bridge culvert to Dunnington's Pit, and the awarding of the work has been put on hold while we seek council's direction on pursuing an alternative option. The urgency for the road construction to the Dunnington gravel pit is low for the next year due to the current availability of approximately 75,000 tons of gravel supply at Dunnington's Pit. Additionally, the nearby Buckhold gravel pit can meet our supply requirements for the next 2 to 3 years. For the time being, we can continue using the lease road through the adjacent property on the east. Before moving forward with the project, administration wants to explore all the long-term impacts on development and supply, including asset management, environmental, and financial aspects. Administration is investigating an alternative option to develop Anderson's gravel pit located at southeast 17-48-7 west of 5th. There are a couple attachments. Attachment 1 shows Dunnington Pit. 2 shows an aerial view of Anderson Pit, where that's located. So a little background on the current option, which is the Range Road 81 option. It currently doesn't provide access to Dunnington Pit, necessitating the development of an additional road segment. The statutory road allowance crosses a watercourse with a sharp elevation drop, creating potential challenges for road development. To complete the road development, additional right-of-way would be needed on both sides of the statutory road allowance. So attachment 3 shows an aerial of exactly how much additional land is needed on both Crown land on one side and then private property on the other side. A bridge-sized culvert would be needed to be installed to address the watercourse issue. This factor is noted as it's a significant upfront cost, as well as ongoing maintenance and replacement cost of the bridge-sized culvert in the future. The land to the west is Crown land, which would require roadway disposition to secure the right-of-way for development. So the alternative proposal, which is the Anderson Pit, we're presenting an alternative to the initial proposal, primarily motivated by cost considerations, the possibility of in-house construction, and avoiding the addition of new assets, the bridge culvert. Additionally, the proposal aims to enhance the longevity and quality of pit material, which could impact the long-term viability and success of the project. While the initial development plan addresses immediate access need, the alternative proposal for consideration focuses on maximizing cost efficiency, asset management, and long-term project sustainability. It's recommended that further details on the alternative plans be explored, especially around the cost, access, longevity of materials, and the ability for in-house construction on that road. So next, there's analysis of recommended action. So Andy's done up Dunnington versus Anderson comparisons. So the first one being accessibility from the shop, so the distance from the shop for each one, the environmental impacts. So in Dunnington, it's a wider creek to cross, the potential of impacting fish habitat, larger area to prevent erosion and sediment, significant wetlands disturbed, couple of gravel pits already operating nearby. The environmental impact on the Anderson subdivision to the west of the site. There's a couple of gravel pits in the vicinity operated as an on-needed basis, and there's an ephemeral draw. The length of the road, Dunnington's 1.2, Anderson's 800. The project cost, and when I'm saying this, it is in-house costs that we're putting here. Dunnington, approximately 2.5 million. Although that wouldn't be able to 100% be completed in-house, and Anderson 450,000. Land requirement, Dunnington will require land from the Crown on the west side and widening from the resident on the east side, as I mentioned. And then Anderson, it's already Brazeau County owned land, so there's no land purchase required on that one. Reserves, Dunnington has approximately 1.6 million tons, Anderson 2.5 million tons. In-house construction capacity. So for Dunnington, complex project given the challenging terrain, resources, and volume of dirt to be moved. Anderson, crew experience with similar road construction projects. So Andy's crew here has done a couple of different projects as listed there that are very similar to that one. Underground utilities. On Dunnington, both Ricochet and Synovus have abandoned line that needs removal. On Anderson, Ricochet lines are in the area, but road can be built over them. There's just a couple overhead power lines and a couple poles to be moved. Road maintenance cost on Dunnington is significantly higher. It will be a public road, regular maintenance required to ensure driver safety. On Anderson, the road maintenance cost is low as access restricted to county employees and a few utility companies. And there would be a secured gate at the entrance. Level of complexity, Dunnington land negotiates with province and private owner, and Anderson land is already owned by Brazeau County. So it would just be utilizing, prioritizing county-owned land. And for assets, Dunnington, addition of a substantial bridge culvert. So again, there's the upfront cost and the ongoing maintenance and possible future replacement costs of that. For Anderson, there's no addition to assets. On the next page is a cost analysis. So up top you have the initial cost of engineering, in-house construction cost, contract construction cost, and annual maintenance cost for Dunnington versus Anderson, and then a bit of a chart below showing the difference of those two.
So the gravel, where is the gravel actually located? Is it on the county's quarter, or is it, that's just the route that you may be going down because it's shorter? So on page 27, it shows the Anderson pit, and one of the options is to join those two roads, the Leash Road to the other road that runs at a north-west angle there. But where's the actual gravel pit? Is it the one down on the river?
It's right on the county's land.
Oh, it's on the
It's on the
county's
county
land.
land.
It's right there.
But-
Southeast 174875.
But there's no disturbance on that land there. I thought that there was gravel stockpile there, or am I thinking something else?
No, this is a virgin land. We have never been on this land, so.
Okay, so it's a new pit then we'll be opening up.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. Don, you had a comment?
I do. This wasn't presented when we looked at the last one.
No, this is through, it's changed hands a couple times. You can see this has gone over a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
And in discussions with Annie, we've came with a new solution here and just wanted to throw it by council. Yeah.
So the last proposal, wasn't there gravel already there?
That's
Like-
the one on the river, isn't it? That there was a stockpile of gravel there
Dunnington?
that we couldn't haul out because the culvert was missing. Well,
I think there was a road washout there, right, from what I understand? Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that gravel is just, we're not using that gravel, or?
Yep, and I think right now we're doing access through an
Yep.
adjacent landowner, and we have a agreement to go through an adjacent landowner and do a search to get around, because the one access we were using, which was washed out, but we can't forever do that, and so that's where the proposal to build the road through. But in doing that, with the large drop and big bridge culvert and water, we just came up with an additional option that was a bit more cost effective and ability to in-house do, and as well as longevity for the gravel in the future too, and the quality of it.
do we have a copy of that new proposal? Because I haven't seen it, but then I could have missed it.
Which new proposal?
The new proposal you're talking about right
This,
now.
this is it today. Yeah, so this is our
Right.
proposal today, is the Anderson pit route.
But you
is
said
using that one.
there was work and agreements with landowners.
Moving forward with the Range Road 81 option, we would, the attachment 3. Oh, I see what you're saying. So there is a current road use agreement with Obst
Right?
to access the Dunnington pit for Range Road.
Oh, there's
Right,
already
right.
agreement in place.
Yes, it's just on a year-to-year basis.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's very expensive, right?
Pardon me?
And it's very expensive
What is?
to use the Dunnington pit, right? So to get up, to use that road through that landowner's
Yeah,
property.
there is a cost to that. I
What
don't
is the
have that with
cost
me,
per
but there
ton?
is a cost, and then that's renegotiated each year. And there's the ability for him not to, not to extend it. Yeah.
So, we may need to have the discussion on costs in closed session. I don't like disclosing somebody's agreement with the county publicly.
Yeah.
So we may want to add that to the enclosed, just for information for council.
Okay.
Because obviously it's an expenditure of some kind.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll put that on the agenda. Somebody want to add that to the agenda? Glenn? Oh, I thought you were reaching forward to extend the FOIP request in regards to,
Oh. I'd like to add, I'll move to add to the agenda a FOIP request for the information on the Dunnington Pit Access Road. I don't know what the number is. 25.
Discussion, all those in favor? We're just adding this to the agenda. Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Anthony?
In favor, is that the Dunnington pit though, or is that the Anderson pit we're talking about?
Access to the Dunnington pit.
Okay.
Alrighty, so we may need you enclosed as well. All right, anything else to add, or any questions? Donna?
So that FOIP is different than what we're dealing with right now.
Yes,
Yeah, okay. So I'm prepared to make a motion.
Glenn just made a motion on the FOIP
No, this
request.
is to.
Oh, just to add it
hers
to
is
the
going be-
agenda.
Mine was to add it to the agenda, hers is gonna be to investigate this Anderson pit more further for costs.
As per the recommendation. Pardon me?
Oh, haven't we voted on that? We did, didn't we?
On what?
Oh, I thought we voted on that.
Oh, yeah, we voted on your vote.
Yeah, but we haven't done, we gotta be done. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the, as per the recommendation on
Yeah.
21 or whatever it is. All right, go ahead, Donna.
Okay, I move that administration proceed with further detailed evaluation of an alternative option of access to Anderson Pit for future development.
Discussion? I just have a comment. We don't want to spend more money building a road to a gravel pit than what the gravel's worth. Right, so we don't want to spend all the money just building a road and then we consume all the money that we're going to make from the gravel or save. It's just a thought I had, and that's all.
Yeah, and that's why I thought this option that Andy came up with was a great one.
Okay.
That everyone might like to
Good
to
job, Andy.
review. Yeah.
All right, discussion on Donna's motion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Anthony?
In favor.
Okay, carried unanimous. All right, you got your marching duties.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Pippa and Andy.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one is just an update report. So during budget discussions in the fall, Township Road 495 came up between Range Road 71 and 73. There was a motion made to direct administration to bring back the full cost of rehabilitation of Township Road 495 from Range Road 71 to 73. The motion was passed unanimously, and administration was tasked with investigating the full cost of rehabilitation. A third-party geotechnical investigation was deemed the best course of action for the road's rehabilitation. V3 companies pre-qualified with Brazeau County was selected to conduct this geotechnical investigation. They will review the existing conditions along the roadway between 73 and 71, about 3.2 kilometers. They'll be doing boreholes, laboratory investigation, and reports and recommendations. The field investigation will include surface review and site reconnaissance, collecting background information, utility locates, and 16 test holes, each 2.3 meters deep. The test hole drilling will be undertaken utilizing a truck-mounted soil testing drilling rig. All the holes will be drilled 150 millimeters, continuous flight solid or hollow stem augers, and they'll be doing this in a crisscross pattern to make sure we determine, the shoulder, the crown, and all the information. They'll be testing those, and then the final report will summarize the site conditions and the methodologies used during the investigation. It will also include details of the subsurface soil conditions. The report will provide key geotechnical insights, including probable cause of existing pavement distress, remediation strategy options, and pavement structure. The work is planned to begin after the spring thaw. Test hole drilling and field investigation are expected to take 4 weeks. The final report and recommendation will be delivered 8 weeks after the drilling, 4 weeks after the field investigation. And there's 3 pictures at the bottom. Those were just pictures of of various parts of the road from the fall of 2024. And in reviewing with maintenance, the amount of times this road's been touched and a few different methodologies, it thought best to do it this way before doing another test or recommendation before getting formal investigation on this one.
Any engineering firms are responsible for the failure or not?
No. There was some test solutions that were done with, in past motions.
Yeah, because these pictures make it look good. I drove that a few
These
times.
are after some repairs too, though. There was some older pictures, but these were a few that after the repairs in the fall. Yeah. But,
Yeah, there was potholes and rough bumps and
yeah.
stuff piled up on each side. It was, like I said, these pictures make it look good.
Yeah.
All right, so you just gave that as an update? to
Just
let
as an
us know.
update report, just to follow up from budget discussions to let you know which direction we're going in. Unfortunately, we can't complete this investigation until the thaw because we need to do the boreholes. But, yeah.
Great. All right, a motion to receive Pippa's
Bart?
presentation. Oh, Anthony, go ahead.
Oh,
Okay, this, as I read the report, this is basically going to tell us what it's going to cost to get this road put in proper condition and to move forward with. Is that kind of correct, Pippa?
That's correct. And the best course of action, we kind of looked at what's happened from 2016 till now, and it's been touched a few different times with a few different applications. So this would give some certainty of the best surface in action to do the rehabilitation.
Okay, well, that's good, and that's going to be important too, but we know what we're going to require and what the potential costs are to make it finally in a good state. But I guess also what I was trying to accomplish and didn't word the motion quite as well as I had thought I did was I also wanted to know what the costs up to date are that we've invested in this road since we started the rebuilding of it, from when there was dirt that was put in there from the lagoon onward and subsequent various patch jobs. I'd like to know the total costs of what we've invested to date from the beginning of rebuild.
Okay. That's information perhaps I could bring back for the March 4th workshop that we're having. Yeah. I believe so. I'll let Rudy know if not, but we'll plan for that.
Okay. All right, Glenn, you got a motion?
I move to receive the update report on Township Road 495 between Range Road 71 and Range Road 73 geotechnical investigation for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara? How do you vote?
favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor. So, Bart, I just want to have a question yet.
Go ahead, Anthony.
So with, if I understood Pepper correctly, I'll get those costs that I've asked for at the workshop that's coming up?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it for your presentation?
Did we vote, Bart?
Yeah, you voted already.
Okay.
You can vote twice if you want.
Okay.
All right, planning and development, draft policy, subdivision of land with no road access. This was Cody's request for this information.
Good morning, Raven Council. At the December 3rd, 2024 council meeting, resolution 728/24-12-03 was passed to direct administration to develop a policy or bylaw restricting the creation of landlocked parcels for council's review. Administration reviewed existing Brazeau County statutory plans and policies to determine which may deal with this or similar issues. Two policies, the lease road and private road use for development policy PW 24 and access to subdivision/parcels policy PW-21 are currently in place. However, neither deals specifically with this matter. Policy PW-21 contains a statement recognizing that subdivision regulations require lawful and physical access, but no Brazeau County policy establishes the requirement for development of road access. Policies, or copies of the existing policies are included in Appendix A on pages 38 through 42 of the agenda package. Research into how adjacent and surrounding municipalities address this issue was also undertaken. The result of that research is reflected in the table contained within the report and throughout appendices B to G. As per council's resolution, administration has directed or drafted a policy attached as Appendix H on pages 58 and 59 for review. This draft policy acknowledges that development without access to municipal or provincial roads may have occurred pursuant to existing policy PW 24, but sets out requirements for future subdivisions. Reference to development has also been included for consideration should council determine it is appropriate to be incorporated. Within the draft policy is a provision for landowners to construct roads within government road allowances under the purview of Brazeau County. An example of this is included in the report, where landowners made a request to council to allow them to construct a road to access their parcel and thereafter get a development permit for the construction of a single detached dwelling. There's no anticipated operational impacts as the result of such a policy as drafted, as road construction would continue to be subject to existing county policies and practices under the Public Works Department. Financial implications would also be dealt with separately from any such policy, subject to Public Works review and council decision. Policy PD-5, titled the Development and Subdivision of Land with No Road Access Policy, is presented to council today for review pursuant to the resolution passed on December 4th. Thank you.
Questions? Well, I have serious concerns about this. This will kill development in the county for all the farmers that are out there that have got landlocked parcels and that can't develop them now. I've been allowed to develop them in the past, and with panel-shaped parcels. It makes it access. So it gives legal access, but not necessarily physical access. Access is something that we've supported in this county on a road request. So people put their applications in for a road request, and then it's up to council to decide whether or not the road actually gets built. And that policy, I think, is more pertinent than what's being proposed here. This is very restrictive. So that's just my comments. Kara or Anthony, any comments?
I don't agree. We've had situations where other developers and land developers have had to build the roads on county road allowances to the county standards. I know of a couple of them already that had to do it, some of them in my division. And anyone that's doing subdividing that doesn't have an existing access to a road allowance, if they wish to divide at that particular spot on that quarter, then they need to build the road allowance, the road up to that parcel at their cost. That's been already a past history, and others have done that, and it should be the future practice as well.
You're right, it happened in 2 or 3 occasions, but that's not been the standard practice in the past, Anthony. But you are right, there has been a couple of examples most recently, but that's because they didn't want to wait for the county to build the road when they had time. So they did it because to move themselves further up the queue to get their parcel addressed. But it hasn't been the standard practice. We've been a citizen first philosophy for 8 years right now. Morning.
That wasn't the case in one over there, my division, that was done on north on Range Road 45, and then cross over to Crates, about 4 parcels, I believe 4 or 5 parcels, and he built a half-mile of road at his cost.
You're right, Anthony. It has happened in 2 or 3 occasions, but it's not been the standard practice. So we talk about economic development. This is going to stifle some of the economic development. All we need is to make sure that they have legal access so that when the county decides to build a road, it'll be up to the county to make that decision, but not having a hard and fast policy with no flexibility. Cody, you were the one that requested this.
Yeah, so maybe, I'm not sure that I understand your concern. So your concern is when it comes to permitting or when it comes to subdivision? Because when it comes to permitting, we already have restrictions when it comes to if you want to build something there, you have to have you have to have access, right? So this is just when it comes to subdividing, and this doesn't actually, like, you could have a landlocked quarter section, and you could sell it, and then this person has a landlocked quarter section, you know, that you've accessed through a different quarter section. So this is just, the idea is just to restrict the creation of landlocked parcels. So if you could have a road up to your driveway, and then you could build or you could try to subdivide beyond where the road goes, and that's what I'm thinking that we should be restricting, so that part of the issue is that we have a number of landlocked parcels that are on our road request list that have been there for a long time, and I don't want to add new problems to the problems we have, if that makes sense. So you already have restrictions on your, you know, when you want to get a permit. It's just the subdivision stage that, you know, I'm looking to have some control on the, on making the issue bigger.
So you could apply to build a house and not have legal or physical access on a quarter section that's landlocked. Is that what you're saying?
Sorry.
Well, but you're saying you can go ahead, but you can't subdivide.
Yeah, so, no, it's the other way around, actually. So it's currently, there's restrictions when you want to build the house, but not when you want to subdivide it. So you could subdivide it, somebody could buy it, and then not be able to build their house or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Preventing might not be the right word, because it's not that I want to prevent it entirely, but it's, you know, I just don't want to add to our current list before we deal with the rest of it. So, if that makes sense.
Well, if a developer has to build a half a mile of road, it kills the development. That's why I'm saying this is going to kill economic development. It'll cost $40,000 to $60,000 to build a half a mile of road to go to another parcel. That's not going to make it financially viable. And we're trying to encourage economic development. And so all of the existing homes that are there were on undeveloped road allowances. But we allowed them to get built over time, and we slowly have been building roads. That's what our main business is in the county, is to build roads for people to help with the development of our county. This is going to stifle that. No developer has $60,000 extra to do, especially for one parcel. Like, it just kills the development. And like I said before, we're supposed to be supporting economic development here.
May I?
Go ahead, Kara.
I think my question would be is why are we allowing a subdivision on a parcel of land that doesn't have road access? That's not development at all in my instance. And I don't, why are we even at this stage if there's not a road?
I don't know your.
And I think that would be my issue. And that would be my issue is why would we allow a subdivision on a landlocked quarter when there's no road access? And, you know, it's fine for the current landowner that knows what the problems are. The issue comes down the road is when that landowner decides to sell that parcel and an unsuspecting buyer. And I know we're not in the real estate business, but the problem is then you have an unsuspecting buyer buy that land who A, doesn't use a realtor or doesn't go through a lawyer and doesn't understand caveats or what's on title, right? And then they come, we already know, then they'll be right into council chambers going, build me a road.
Well, we've had a lot of those requests already, and council has chosen not to build the roads. And so that's your protective measure there.
But I guess I'm gonna kind of take a step back and do the 50,000 shot view. Why would we allow a subdivision, knowing that there's no physical or legal access to a parcel? That doesn't stifle any development, because even if you allow that subdivision to go through, no development can occur until there's either physical or legal access. So you're not stifling anything. You're just preventing, I think, a huge headache at the end of the day.
The example you're giving there.
But I am listening. But I am listening to the comments. So but that's where I'm hung up with is why would we even allow or even consider a subdivision when there's not physical and legal access.
Well, I would suggest that because we're in an economic strife and we need all the development we can actually get, and that's why we try to work with them. But there's no guarantee the county will build the road right away. And like Cody had mentioned, there's been
Yeah,
a lot of roads that have been on the list for some time, and that's where council comes in and kind of sets the stage for development. Sometimes
But that's my issue is there's not even going to be development because you can't build or do anything with that parcel until there's legal and physical access. So you're not stifling anything because you can't anyways, regardless. I guess that's what my point is. And yeah, I just know what a headache this can be down the road if we have allowed something like this and then we get an unsuspecting buyer in who buys this land. And we do have those now. And I agree. That's why we have the road list. And I don't know if there's access to it, but I know what the road list is, the road request list. It's huge right now. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been huge for the last decade. I mean, we just bite away at it one piece at a time and slowly get development throughout our county. But yeah, there is a big road list and council's in control of that. Glenn, then Cody, then Donna.
Yeah, this policy works for me because I have 3 residents on Range Road 83 that have been there for a very long time that don't have legal access to the county's roads, and they have to use an oil field road. The bus has to go down there, and the bus gets stuck if the snow is deep, and then the farmer that owns the land is tasked with going to pull that out at a huge, it opens him up to some sort of an insurance issue as soon as he's hooking up to a bus, or if he's allowing people to drive on his land. So he's not in favor of that anymore. He sees that there's a liability there in today's insurance schemes. But yeah, like I said, the road list is huge. This policy could always be changed once we get a handle on getting caught up to these roads. I mean, if we only had a couple of people on the road request list, then I would say, yeah, this policy doesn't make any sense anymore. But right now, it's a free-for-all, and we got people that have been 20 years waiting for a road, and we're building roads that don't connect anybody. The roads to nowhere is what we call them, right? So we're not focused in on the roads we should be building. So for now, this policy really works for me.
Cody.
Yeah, so just a couple of other things. So Kara pretty well said exactly what I was thinking there. The other thing is, it's not necessarily going to stifle development. We're just going to be, instead of building in one, or subdividing in one area, you have to subdivide in an area that has access. And in most cases, I want to say you're going to have some place to subdivide where there's access. And really the only thing this changes as far as development goes is that instead of subdividing, somebody buying it, and then this place being put on the road request list, instead they're going to have to be on the road request list before they can subdivide. So it prevents a parcel from being so it essentially prevents a parcel being sold to an unsuspecting person. Yeah, that's kind of I think that's kind of it.
So just a question on your comments there, Cody. So do they move to the top of the road request list, or do they move to the bottom of the road request list? I think I know the answer.
I don't know what you mean, sorry.
Well, when you get put onto the road request list, do you get put on the top so that you're next in line on these ones here? Or is it at the bottom of the list and you gotta wait till all the other people get addressed? Which, as we've heard already, is probably a 10-year process. So does it delay development? Absolutely it will. Because by the time we get through that road list, it'll be 20 years.
Perhaps. It is up to council which roads we build. So whichever one we build or ones we build in a year are the ones we build. The other thing was, sorry, you mentioned.
If it gets put onto the road request list on the top or the bottom, and then I stated if that's true, if it goes on the bottom, it's going to be 10, 15, 20 years
sorry.
before the road gets built, which So you said it doesn't stifle development? Even though council's in charge, generally first come, first served is how we treat most things.
Yeah, so these places couldn't be developed even if they're even if we allowed the subdivision, just go ahead, do what you want, they wouldn't be able to develop these places because we already have a policy restricting the permitting process. So, they wouldn't be able to, you can sell a parcel, but you can't do anything with it. If it doesn't have, in a lot of cases, like if you don't have legal access, you can't get a mortgage, or you can't, you know what I mean? Like, we've had that issue a few times.
Well, you've got legal, people confuse legal access and physical access. Physical address is the building of a road on a approved county road allowance. Legal access is just touching it. And there's many examples on the map where there is no road built, but there is either a panhandle or something that touches it, and there's no road built there. All
Yeah.
right, so the road part is gonna really slow things down. Some of these parcels have been operating for 20 or 30 years, and I'd like to know how many of these examples have we got on the list that we're creating a whole policy for a half a dozen people or a half a dozen issues? You know, there's quite a difference there.
Yes, I know the difference between the legal and the physical access, but if you don't have both, you can't get a mortgage. So you might be accessing through a lease road, but you can't, you know, these days they've restricted that.
I don't know if that's true. I need to have some research
We've had a couple of instances.
on mortgages.
There's,
In other words, where you can't get a mortgage because there's no physical access.
We had, a year or two ago, I think it was in Donna's division, we had a fellow that came in here, he had physical access, but he couldn't sell his property because the people couldn't get a mortgage. And that's the story they gave us. That might not actually be true, but, that was that's kind of what I'm referencing in this case. But
Yeah.
anyway, I think that this is not going to necessarily stifle development. I think that it's just going to cause people to think twice and to, place their developments in more appropriate places.
Donna?
So what if you're a farmer, you want to sell your homestead because you need money to retire, but you have 3 kids and you want to leave them each some land, and they're all roadblocked, or not roadblocked, no access.
No access.
And the kids are okay with that because they think we'll deal with that when we want to
Move out there.
or whatever. We'll deal with it later. And just the word restrictive, restricting is bothering me in this. I just don't see why we have to restrict a landlocked parcel when we already have policies, we already have bylaws, we already have, nobody can build there anyway. But if a dad wants to give his son some land, I don't think we should be in the way of that. And the mortgage thing, I know that there was physical access, but there wasn't legal access. And there was, how do I want to say this? There was friction, a lot of friction, between the landowner that they had to use to get to their place. So it wouldn't work for that buyer. They just could not use that person's land anymore.
And I'm not sure if
Anyway.
we're supposed to be using mortgages in a discussion on a policy.
I don't
And-
know
and-
anything about
You're-
mortgages, but
Right.
yeah, so I'll just, this is my, I hate the word restrict. When we're a can-do county. I think it's unfair for people who have landlocked parcels to be singled out. Like, if they want to leave their kids some land. So
And I go back, we're creating a policy for half a dozen issues. You know, creating a policy for half a dozen issues is not what we're supposed to be doing. You gotta think about creating policies that affect the whole county and all the development.
Bart,
Go ahead, Anthony.
I'd like to ask Chandra a question. Under the subdivision development regulations, are we allowed to subdivide a parcel of land if it doesn't have legal and physical access?
Through the chair to Councillor Heinrich, I believe it's within the MGA. I'll have to look at the section, but if you give me a second.
I think to give you some time to make sure you have an opportunity, that's something you could bring back to the next council so you've got time to thoroughly review it instead of being forced to make a quick decision right away here.
Okay.
I would like to know what the public thinks about this and think how many would like to have this policy in place. Not that don't care, because we get very few letters of rejection whenever we go online or whenever we set a policy in place. Why can't we do it in the reverse, saying how many people don't support this particular policy instead of do support? Because we don't get people coming out to support that much. You might get a few people in the audience every once in a while, or a handful of people that make, you know, applications or even a small petition. How much weight do you put on that? Cody, and then Dallas.
So maybe to that comment, I mean, I understand you want to get the people that would disagree with it to come out, but then that causes a bias in the sense that the only people that are going to come out are going to be the people that disagree.
I might have said that wrong. It's actually
but-
to agree with this policy. I apologize.
But the, you know, we're the ones that have to deal with the problem, right? When a parcel is subdivided, sold, and doesn't have access, we're the ones that have to figure out a way to make it work. So this is a policy like this would be that one of those ways. You know, it was mentioned that, you know, we're doing this for a half a dozen issues or so. You know, that might even be true, but we're also dealing with 1,000 potential issues, right? You know, everybody could be doing this. So other than that, the issue of you know, we spoke about a retired farmer might want to leave land to his 3 kids. We can make a subdivision that, you know, utilizes a shared driveway that is subdivided in such a way that everybody can have both physical and legal access. This is just making it, the idea is just that we don't force a parcel that doesn't have access. When it comes to a subdivision can be, the driveway can be done and subdivided in such a way that everybody can be happy with that. So I think that's all I have to say.
Well, but a subdivision, Cody, may not be in the place that you think that a double access approach, it might be at the north end side of things there, that's away from the road, where the best property for subdividing might be ravine, might be, you know, something with some aesthetics. So all parcels aren't created the same. So putting in a subdivision right along a road allowance that you think you can just put 3, you know, parcels or a divided approach, that may not be the best place for a subdivision. And it may be on top of that hill at the far end that overlooks the, you know, the rest of the farmland. Anyway, I'm not going to get into why people make decisions, but I think if we're going to do anything, do something that requires them to have legal access, but not build the road. If if we force people to build on a road allowance, we've had 3 or 4 examples, that's it. All right, and we didn't force them, they just says, can we build it and pay for it ourselves? Great, that's a nice donation to the county's coffers. But that's not something that everybody can afford. Glenn, and then Dallas, and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, I have a ratepayer also that built on a piece of land, and there wasn't any road close to, like I said, the access was on the north side, but the best building spot was on the south side. So he built a road all the way from the north side to the south side to build the perfect little spot on his house. And what happened later on, we actually built the road on to the west of him. And when that was built, all he did was he asked for that road allowance to be removed to the north, and then he built his perfect little road out to the west to connect. So over time, things do work out that way, like I said, but it's up to the landowner. If they want to, you know, if you have a piece of land that you want to give to your family, that's fine. But we've already had where the family gets it, and then they just want to subdivide it, and then they find out that they can't because there's no road access there. And we came very dangerously close to actually just skipping, I think it was last year, we almost skipped them to the top of the line. They'd come wanting their road done, and like I said, we almost put them right to the top, and we already have people waiting 10, 15 years, and that didn't make any sense how that works, that somebody can just come in and all of a sudden everyone was gung-ho to build a road into that place. So I'd like to see the road requests get cleaned up first before it gets extended any further than what it already is, and you know, that's it. I'm still in favor of this.
Yeah, and we haven't cleared up the road list since the county's been born in 1988, so you're saying basically there will be no roads being built because the road request list won't be done for another 10 or 15 years. So that's what I mean by stifling development. Dallas?
Thanks, Reeve. You know how I feel about the development of statutory right-of-way. That's the responsibility of the municipality. Always has been, always should be. I don't understand sharing assets with people, individuals who are building roads on our stat right-of-ways. That's, to me, that's craziness. You know, as far as us weighing into property ownership and due diligence and stuff like that, we can't step foot in that. That's not our place. If people don't do their due diligence, that's on them. I'm sorry. Legal and physical access is still subjective. According to the information we have in our policies, it's determined by Public Works. And that's subjective, and we're also looking at determining the size of road and the kind of access that we need. We've got a lot of work to do here before we can build a policy like this. We've got a lot of heavy lifting to do. I'd much prefer to use the tools that we have, the policies that we have in place. And I agree with Donna Wiltsey, we can find a way. There's always a way. And sometimes it's the county's responsibility, sometimes it's not. So I think we're a long ways away from adopting a new policy on this one. I would be tapping the brakes.
All right, go ahead.
Just if I can go back, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Heinrich's question, I did find the section of the development, subdivision and development regulations. So it is section 9, road access. Every proposed subdivision must provide for each lot to be created by it, A, direct access to a road, or B, lawful means of access satisfactory to the subdivision authority.
So a panhandle has been satisfactory in the past to allow legal access.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I'm not sure I'm understanding panhandle, because typically a panhandle does provide the access to a road right-of-way
But it
to
doesn't
create a
have to be
parcel.
built, though, but it doesn't have to be built. And I can show you lots of examples on the map.
No, because as long as the approach accesses that
Right.
road right-of-way, how the driveway, then it would be a driveway along that panhandle portion of the lot. That's the landowner's responsibility, but they do have then legal physical access
Right.
to a county road. is
Yes, so it
the
doesn't have
purpose
to
of the
be a built.
panhandle.
That's a perfect example. The road doesn't have to be built. It just has to have an approach onto the panhandle itself.
To the county road, yes. So any lot, we look at any lot being subdivided should be adjacent somehow to a county road right-of-way,
Right,
and that provides that legal access.
right. And that's what I'm talking about. Legal access is just making sure your property touches a county road allowance, but it doesn't have to be built. And so that's how the policy has been working in the past. So the landowner still has to give up that panhandle to the subdivision that he's building. But at least it's that's legal access. So it's legally touching a county road allowance. Cody?
Bart,
Okay, I'll go to Anthony first there because you've been pretty quiet today.
okay, Bart, if I can go ahead?
Yeah, you're go ahead, Anthony.
The panhandle that is being spoken of, it leads up to an existing road allowance. That's what the whole point of the panhandle is. Now, if it doesn't, it may not need to be built because in past situations, that's what's occurred. If there is an existing lease road or other access that it provides for physical access, but the legal access is the panhandle, even if it isn't built. Eventually, if the physical access, the one that like the lease road, no longer is available, all of a sudden that's where the panhandle has to be built, and now it becomes the legal and physical access. So, I'm trying to say, this policy that we have in front of us is very, in my opinion, covers all bases. In fact, number 3, section 3 on page 59, even allows for council still to consider building the road if they so choose. But I don't know what we're trying to accomplish when 53 section 3 or 59 section 3 really covers any allowances for council to make exceptions.
Cody?
Yeah, so Anthony said most of everything I was about to say, but going back a little bit when we were talking about the farmer that has 3 kids and wants to retire, and that's what I was talking about, was we can subdivide in such a way that people have all the access that they need. So, once it actually gets to their property, they can do whatever they want to do with their driveway, right? So, yeah, I really think that we're covered in all, I think we're covered in all ways here. But I'm not 100% sure, but so I guess through the chair to administration, based on the conversation that we've been having, do you think that we need to have an updated policy that we bring back to our next meeting, or does this really cover all our bases?
Well, you're asking her an opinion, and that's the council's job. You're putting her in a predicament.
No, I'm not asking an opinion. I'm asking how she feels about it.
Well, no, that's not the administration's role to wade into the political discussion for that.
May I? We have a public hearing at 10.
Go ahead, Kara.
We have a public hearing at 10 a.m.
Oh, I see. Okay, you're telling me it's 10 o'clock. We got to take a quick recess from this. So, did you guys want to make a decision right now, or you want more time? More time? Okay.
I'll make a motion quickly, Bart.
Say that again, Anthony?
If you will, I'll make a motion right now so we can deal with it quickly and get on with it.
Well, I'd rather not deal with it quick, but if you make a well, we've got a bunch of people that have just come into the room here, Anthony.
Well, then why don't we just pause the discussion on this and go into the public hearing? We'll continue discussion on this topic after public hearings issues.
Okay, that's a good idea. All right, we need a motion to go into public hearing. That's pages 73 to 81. Anybody?
I move to go into public hearing for bylaw 1199-25.
Okay, it's for second and third reading. All right, so we're in public hearing now. I see a bunch of folks here. that
You gotta
just came-
vote.
Oh, yeah, discussion first of all those in favor? First time I made a mistake, Anthony, and all these people saw it. Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor?
Okay, so that's carried unanimous. Okay, so folks, I don't imagine you came here to listen to me speak. So if you've got things to say about this development, the floor is yours. We're gonna take a break here right now.
Would you
So
like,
we may need, yeah, just, you can relax for,
do you want me to introduce the item that we're here for the public hearing?
oh, yes, okay.
Okay. So this public hearing is for rezoning application 24A-014, located on pages 73 through 81 of the agenda package. And this application has been submitted to rezone approximately 5.06 acres from agricultural to agricultural holdings within a portion of Northeast 3447-5 west of the 5th meridian, which would allow for the subdivision of an equally sized parcel. The subject lands are located immediately south of Highway 616, from which both the proposed lot and the remnant parcel have access, and west of Range Road 52, and the land location map is on page 75. The application was circulated for review and comments to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners. External comments were received from Buck Mountain Gas Co-op, Canada Post, Fortis Alberta, and TELUS, all of which advised that they had no concerns, conditions, or setbacks. Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors requires a 30-meter wide service road dedication be provided for both the proposed lot and the remnant parcel, which would be a condition of subdivision. Internal comments were provided by Public Works and Agricultural Services. Public Works advised that as the property abuts Highway 616, any road and access requirements would be the determination of Alberta Transportation. Agricultural Services advised of the soil conditions and that a confined feeding operation is located half a kilometer away, but Agricultural Services had no concerns regarding the rezoning and subdivision. And no letters of concern were received from adjacent landowners. Policy considerations were set out in the report to Council on February 4th and confirmed that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the county's municipal development plan and our land use bylaw, and the lands do not fall within any intermunicipal development plan or area structure plan. It is administration's recommendation that second and third readings be given to bylaw 1199-25 for the rezoning of approximately 5.06 acres from agricultural to agricultural holdings within a portion of Northeast 3447-5 west of the 5th meridian. Thank you.
Online, we're in the crowd. Okay, seeing none, we'll just come out of public hearing. A motion by Dallas.
Move that Brazeau County Council come out of public hearing 1199-25.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Anthony?
In favor?
Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous.
Look for a second reading, Bart.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I move second reading for bylaw 1199-25.
Discussion? All those in favor? Did you want to speak, Dallas? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor?
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Anybody want to give third and final reading? Go ahead, Dallas.
Move the Brazeau County Council give third reading to bylaw 11925.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor?
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Okay, are we going to go to the next item here? It's not quite 11:15 or 10:15. We've got Nancy and our new ag chair, or What do we call you now, Ro? Fieldman. Okay. All right, so we'll deal with that there right now, just because we've got to wait till 10:15.
We still haven't finished the other discussion on the bylaw for subdivisions.
Oh, yes. I think it might take more than 5 minutes, but we can do that if you guys want. I think we'll deal with.
I'm prepared to make a motion on it.
Okay.
I got to get back to the right page. What page was it on? Because I was up here on this topic. Just wait, I'll get there. Okay, I'm at the right page. I move to approve policy PD5 as presented.
All right, well, I think it's a bit hasty. I think a lot more thinking has to go into this policy. The existing stuff that we've already got is enough restrictions for development already. This is going to cause more, as I outlined. Dallas?
Yeah, Reeve, I think there's a lot more discussion here. There's a lot of moving parts. I think what we should do is just table this motion and bring it back for March the 4th meeting and give it the discussion it deserves.
Well, we'd have to have a tabling motion to do that, Dallas.
If you would allow me to, I'd move the table.
Okay, there's no discussion on a tabling motion. All those in favor of tabling this item till March 4th? How do you vote, Anthony?
Opposed?
Kara, how do you vote?
Opposed.
Okay. So the motion has failed.
So my motion is still on the floor.
Yeah. All right, Anthony says to adopt this policy. Discussion. All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
I'll call the meeting back to order. We have to go into a public hearing. Anybody, any counselor want to make a motion?
I move to go into public hearing for bylaw 1200-25.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried unanimous. Go ahead and present.
I vote in favor.
Oh, yeah, great. Anthony, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
Kara, how do you vote? Kara, how do you vote? All right, we'll just have to deal with it without it, but it's carried unanimous with those in attendance.
Thank you. Rezoning application 24A-015, located on pages 82 through 100 of the agenda package, has been submitted to rezone the parcel legally described as Lot 8, Block 1, Plan 912-2189, within Southeast 18497, west of the 5th Meridian, from rural industrial to commercial. The subject lands are immediately north of Township Road 492 Service Road in the Poplar Ridge area and east of 63rd Street. This parcel is the former site of Intercon Messaging at 6226 50th Avenue, as shown on the land location on map on page 84. As indicated in the application to amend the land use bylaw on page 86 through 88, the proposed future use of the property is an addiction recovery center, or what is referred to in our land use bylaw as a social care facility. The landowner has submitted additional information in support of their application, which is attached as Appendix F on pages 98 through 100 of the agenda package, as well as the addition that was received this morning. The current rural industrial zoning does not allow for such a use. However, the commercial zoning includes this use as discretionary, which will require consideration and decision from the Municipal Planning Commission, subject to another referral process. The application was circulated for review and comments to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners. External comments were received from Fortis Alberta and TELUS, which advised that they had no concerns, conditions, or setbacks. Internal comments were provided by Public Works, Community Services, and Corporate Services, all of which advised that they had no concerns or requirements. 5 letters of concern were received from adjacent landowners and are attached in Appendix E on pages 92 through 97 for review and consideration. Policy considerations were set out in the report to Council on February 4th and confirmed that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the county's intermunicipal development plan with the town of Drayton Valley, as well as the municipal development plan and the Poplar Ridge Area Structure Plan. Bylaw 1200-25 for the rezoning of the parcel legally described as Lot 8, Block 1, Plan 912-2189 within Southeast 1849-7 west of the 5th Meridian from rural industrial to commercial is presented to Council today for consideration of giving second and third readings. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the presentation. Any questions, councillors? Folks in the stands there, do you have any comments in regards to this application? I'll comment. Well, you have to come up to the microphone and state your name for the record so that we can document your concerns or your support. Thanks.
I'm Jeff Buchan, so I wrote the letter up there. I am next door neighbor to Intercon Messaging. When I say I am, I represent Elite Automation, and that's a group of local people. We work almost as a cooperative, and it's the same where we own the property as a cooperative. All the people that work with us were employee-owned along with the property. We received this letter, whatever it was, ahead of your first reading with like 2 days notice. I have no idea what's going in there other than it says it's an addiction recovery center. And our previous place where we rented, where we worked out of, we had a ton of problems with crime and drug addicts and drug paraphernalia. And I just want to make sure I'm not dealing with that again. We want more information about what's going in next door, because we don't know.
Okay.
So that's what my letter is stating. You know, I don't want a bunch more headaches like I had where we moved from the last location in town.
Okay, I would suggest that you stay in the attendance. There may be more information that comes forward during this application. It might take 10 or 20 minutes, whatever it takes.
Yeah,
So-
that's fair.
And your name was Jeff?
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak for or against this application?
Good morning, my name is Carrie Papadenitz, and I am a recovering addict. It took me 18 years to be able to achieve the 11 and a half years of sobriety that I have today. I truly believe that if there would have been a treatment center in my community, I might have gotten back to my children and my life sooner. Today, this is my vision. All Our Daughters Recovery and Treatment Center, living women back to life. A women's recovery home where we recognize every woman is someone's daughter. All Our Daughters will be a residential treatment center focusing on bringing women back to the lives they are destined to live. We believe that women are the heart of the universe. They bring life, love, and light to the world. Every woman is someone's daughter, and we aim to get them a solid start in their recovery journey. Our home will be a safe place, a healing place, a place like no other. Living women back to life is our goal. Healing women at the start of their recovery is just the beginning of bringing all of our daughters home. My name is Carrie Papadenitz, and I am president of the board for All Our Daughters.
Thank you. Anybody else got any comments for or against?
Hi there. My name is Brianna Beckett, and I am also a recovering addict. I am a mere 21 years old, and I fight this disease every day of my life. This is a disease that claims thousands of lives every year, including the lives of our children. I've lost countless friends, as well as family members. I was only 15 when my parents took steps to try and intervene in my addiction. This included therapy, detoxes, medications, and eventually what I would come to know as the last stop on the end of the block, a treatment center 3.5 hours away. I truly do believe that if I had access to a recovery center here, and even outpatient services following the completion of my rehabilitation, it makes such a difference for everybody out there. it's such a great opportunity. We have Opportunity Home here as well. And I just strongly urge everybody to consider. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Trina Beckett. You just met my daughter, Brianna. When she was 16 years old, we had to make the tough
Can
decision.
you just pull the microphone a little closer to you there? I just can't quite hear you, and I'm sure you have something important to tell us.
When Brianna was 16 years old, we had to make a tough decision and split her family up. Sorry.
That's okay. Take a few moments if you need.
We had to get our daughter help. We had tried working with professionals in the community, and we felt like they simply turned their back on us. On June 24th of 2020, we picked her up off the street in Drayton and made the 3.5-hour journey to Calgary. That drive was one of the longest drives I've ever been on. Having someone that is on drugs trapped in a vehicle with you. We admitted her to a facility treatment called ARC, Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center. For the next 9.5 months, my husband Danny and our 2 daughters would travel 2 times a week to take part in the program, as it was a family program. I had to relocate there. In a time of COVID and neither one of us working, it put a strain on us financially. We had to have another dwelling, another set of bills, plus traveling all the time. If Drayton would have had a recovery center, our family may not have had to be split up. Imagine yourself in that situation, leaving your other children, leaving your spouse, and leaving the community in which you grew up in. It was extremely hard on everyone, but we were willing to do whatever it took to get help for our daughter, who we knew was in there somewhere. I know so many have concerns about a recovery center potentially opening up. The stigma that there is with addicts, it isn't all necessarily true. They aren't all terrible people. My daughter isn't a terrible person. She wasn't a terrible person. Addiction is a disease, just like cancer is a disease. My husband and I, along with our parents or grandparents, have all been part of this community. We have raised our family in this community that pulls together when someone is in need. Please try and put yourself into the shoes of a family that struggles. I've only talked a small part of what my family went through. I would never wish this upon anyone. After coming back from Calgary, it has been a dream of mine to be part of something like this, to be a voice, a shoulder, and support, so no one ever feels as alone as we did in the beginning of all of this. Please consider the opportunity that another family can have what we never did in our own community. Today, our daughter is doing well. She is happy, healthy, and a contributing member of society, and always willing to help someone in need. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello. Good morning, councilors, residents. I'm Jim Gertz. I've been a resident of this area for about 4 years now. I speak to the need of a women's recovery facility, a place where wounded souls can receive care and healing. They're at a place where they want out of their addictions, not trying to perpetrate further drug use. As far as information to Mr. Buchan, at the point of entry to a recovery facility, they have been addicted, yes. They've recognized they want change. They've reached out for help and have gone through detoxification process, and now they're prepared for working to remove themselves from their past lifestyle with the help and assistance offered by the staff of a recovery facility. They aren't there to continue in addictions. There won't be a need to steal for their habitat, or for their habits rather, or survival. There won't be drug paraphernalia left around. There won't be consistent people trafficked back and forth, especially not drug dealers. There will be care, compassion, oversight, and protection, a separation from their old life. The examples of property devaluation in their letters relate to facilities such as safe drug sites. I spent 60 some odd years in BC. Their safe drug sites really would go along with what they say, and overnight shelters. But the Opportunity Home in Drayton Valley, which the model will be replicated, has not been around very long, but it's also already proven it's not a detriment to the area. I'm sure most people passing the facility don't even recognize its nature. There's nothing about it that would cause concern. I'm fully in support of a women's facility for guidance and compassion to help women overcome in life. My daughter came to visit in 23. She was looking to get into a rehab center. She had done detox and was applying to desirable facilities. She couldn't find any here, and when there would have been family support close by, it would have been here. Discouraged, she chose to return to her home, planning to complete preparations to get into a facility back in BC and endure the wait to get into one. She didn't make it. Old haunts and triggers lured her back, and she died in March last year. A facility such as all our daughters would have possibly changed that. Thank you.
Dear council members, members of Brazeau and Drayton Valley community, these are all of my daughters. My name is Dana. I am the executive director at Opportunity Home here in Drayton Valley. We are a 10-bed, 12-step based, 90-day live-in, biopsychosocial, spiritually based program for men wanting support from their challenges with addiction. I'm here to advocate for the need for support for women wanting and needing a safe place to navigate their challenges with addiction. Addiction discriminates against no one, men or women. There are fewer resources for women all over the province, from detox centers. There are barriers for space for women to access services necessary to heal from the effects of addiction. Defining addiction, I do not view anyone as a drug addict, as an alcoholic, as anything more than a human being who have had experiences of trauma and who have used substances as a last resort to deal with the incredible pain in which they are left with. Addiction is a coping mechanism, putting it simply, and there are barriers all over the place to people wanting treatment, from wait times of months to finances, to program length, to people just experiencing unsupportive relationships, to the barrier of themselves and the defeating thoughts of, I will never be able to do this. I may as well just die. I have spent countless hours on my phone speaking with heartbroken mothers, crying fathers, brothers, sisters, and friends begging for help as they watch their loved ones die slowly from something we here today have the opportunity to provide support for. My job is to remove barriers. We interview clients to make sure first that they will have success in our program and they feel that our program is the best for them. We have clients visit a variety of detox centers until they are clear of any symptoms of withdrawal, which keep people out of our emergency rooms as well. We do a door-to-door service in which we go to pick up the client directly and bring them to our center, in which we do intake and start programming. After the 90 days, we have a variety of pathways for the clients to take. Some go back to their families, some move to new communities, and some need further support, in which they go into our next step program, where we continue to modify programming and provide pathways to possible anything that they might need, including housing. We are working with the community and the government of Alberta to close those gaps in support and care right here in Drayton Valley for people who are working towards living in a life of recovery. I have been asked this on a number of occasions, but I'll encourage you to contemplate. When do you jump in? At what point do you intervene? When is a woman valuable enough for your definition of safety, protection, and healing? When she's unhoused and accessing warming hearts? Is it when she's in high school and couch surfing to survive due to an unstable home environment? Is it when she's in junior high and being bullied for being the smelly kid as she is neglected and she just doesn't know how to care for herself properly? Is it when she's in kindergarten and she's been kept up nights on end, listening to fighting, partying, or even just wondering where the people are that are supposed to be taking care of her as she's in her bed alone? When is she deserving of our thought, of our consideration, of our compassion? When she's being physically, mentally, sexually, or emotionally abused throughout her growth, and then coping with the pain of her circumstance with no support through the use of substances, living unhoused, and accessing warming hearts. I encourage you all to take an inventory of what addiction really is. If you have any further questions or concerns about the Women's Center, our center, the support and the people that would be there, please feel free to approach me, to contact me. I am more than happy at any hour to have a conversation about what healing can be in our community.
Your daughters? Come on down.
Yeah, I'll withdraw my objection.
Okay.
Would have been great to have all this information ahead of time, so I don't look like a pompous ass.
No, it's fine. You know, your opinion is just as valid as everybody else's, so I appreciate you coming down out of the stands. That takes guts as well. All right, anybody else?
Good morning. My name's Charlene Barehead, and I am technically not here for this issue. But I just feel like I couldn't sit and hear this and not speak as someone who spent several years writing Glad You Pre-Sentence reports for high-profile and significant, they called them high-profile and significant, I think, issues. Also having worked in addictions counseling for a number of years. And just want to say that as I'm listening to these incredible presentations, one of the things that comes to mind is as I wrote Glad You Pre-Sentence reports, and I wrote over 92 of them over the years, one of the really difficult challenges is that you can write the report on the person and you soon find out all the things that these people are telling us about the lives of these people and the connections and what they're dealing with, and also their strengths and the beauty within. And then it comes time to write the recommendations. And that's the part where you see why people give up. Because when you go to write the recommendations, you realize that A, the wait lists for addictions treatment centers and other centers are incredibly long, and you lose people, as we've heard, before they get there. The other thing that really resonates with me with this presentation is that often when we find people that have to leave their communities, their small communities, whatever those communities are, either they don't complete because they're so far away from home and there are people who can't follow them because they actually have to maintain their homes in their communities. So they either leave because it's such a shock for them because it's in a large city or a strange place. But the other reality is the community then doesn't change. And so sometimes if they do complete, they come home and then there hasn't been that change in the community to support them. So as I listened to this presentation, I just felt the need to speak in support of that. Sorry, with no notes, just to indicate that I feel like this is an incredible opportunity for this community to not only keep people home, close to home, where they've got their support systems, if they choose to do that, where their families can connect with them, where community can support them, but also where community can get involved and community can see what's happening so that we don't have people that have to try to speak when they don't know what's actually happening. So just for what it's worth, Shanice, thank you.
Okay, so this has been very interesting, the presentation that you folks have brought forward. But this is a rezoning meeting where we have to rezone from and give second and third reading. And the issue is, it's not unheard. I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth here because I'm compassionate to what you're doing, but on the agenda, we're here to give second and third reading for an addiction house. So I appreciate all that you've said, and it'll be taken into consideration by council. I just wanted to let you know, like, we're not here to pass an addiction program. We're here to pass second and third reading so the facility can be used for whatever it is that you're looking at doing there. You guys follow me? So I don't want to be a pompous ass either. All right. Any other discussion? Dallas? You ready to make a motion?
Just come out of closed.
Okay. Go ahead, Dallas.
Yeah, I'll move that Brazeau County Council come out of in closed for bylaw 1225.
Discussion?
It's out of public hearing.
Public hearing. Yeah. Got that, Tina? Paid attention to what he was thinking, not what he was saying? All right, that's good. We need now, if you guys support this, all those in favor? You voters. Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor.
Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
All right, that's carried unanimous. All right, now the question is, do we want to give second and third reading? I'll go to Glenn.
I move that council give second reading to bylaw 1200-25, proposing Lot A, Block 1, Plan 9122189 within Southeast 18497, west of the 5th Meridian, plus minus 0.89 acres, plus minus 0.36 hectares, be rezoned from rural industrial RI to commercial C, as shown in the attached Schedule A.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor, and I would like to make the next motion, please.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, Kara, you want to make the next motion?
Yeah, my computer froze up on me. What was the bylaw number? It was
1200-25.
1225. Okay. I move to give second reading to bylaw 1200-25.
Third reading, Kara.
That's what I said. Third reading. Thank you, Bart.
All right, third reading. All right, discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor.
So that's passed. So folks, you got what you wanted. Well, we've given you the opportunity to do that, but I just came from a conference called Sustainability, and one of the themes that was talked about was the socioeconomics of making a community sustainable. And that's what you guys are doing. You're part of that solution. Everybody can't do everything for everybody, but you guys can do your piece, we can do our piece, and so on and so forth. So it makes for a whole community when we have all the pieces filled by different people and different groups that are actually taking forward. And that's what makes a community sustainable, is having these types of things in our community. And we're fortunate we have all of you folks that care so much for the people that you love. You get me crying here. All right, thanks for coming in. I understand the technicality, and I could have stopped them right at the beginning, Cody, but I thought it was important to hear the background. All right. I think we're done with public hearings. No fire services. Ag service. Finally.
Bart, do we have a delegation at 10:30?
Who's our delegation? Oh, you two. All right, okay. All right, sorry we were late, but you saw the passionate discussion. So you're up next.
Good morning, Council. My name is Wendy Snow, and I'm the interim District 8 captain in the Otipemisiwak Métis government's new districts, which encompasses Brazeau County. I'm here to talk about the need for an Indigenous charter school called the Roots of Resilience. My children grew up in Drayton Valley. We made this our home, and they attended school, public school here. I also have a niece that I'm guardian of, and she went to the Catholic school. So my children have attended the elementary school, the junior high, Drayton Christian School, and outreach. So we pretty much covered the gamut. What I found when my kids were going to school here is that there was a lack of programming, cultural programming for Indigenous students. Now within the division, the school division, there is programming available, but it's always concentrated down in Rocky Mountain House, and my children missed out being in Drayton Valley. They didn't get as much programming or cultural knowledge as that they received in the south part of the division. So we would like to change that and make sure that there's something in Drayton Valley where our kids are recognized and they can learn their culture and get a land-based education. So to that end, I'm going to introduce my partner, Charlene Barehead, and she's going to speak to that.
Good morning. As I said earlier, my name's Charlene Barehead, and I'm actually here for this issue. We are really excited to be submitting this week. If you take a look at the website from Alberta Education, it still says that you can apply for a charter school at any time of the year. On the 22nd of January, the minister sent out an email to everyone who had intended to start a charter school this year to say, oh, you actually have till March 1st. So we have been moving things along rapidly and are grateful for this time with you. Because many of the children that would attend the charter school are from county resident families, we wanted to also make sure that County Council is informed, and we hope at the end that perhaps the Brazeau County would consider giving us a letter of support that we can add to our application to the Minister of Education. So basically I want to clear up first what charter schools are, because often you will hear people in larger public school divisions say, we don't like charter schools, they're competition. Charter schools are public schools. It says right on the website, public charter schools. So charter schools are public education. The requirements are all the same as, Wild Rose or Edmonton Public or Calgary Board of Education or anyone else. We still have to deliver the curriculum, which is actually the Alberta Program of Studies. We have all the same requirements, but we also get the same funding for transportation, which of course will be important for county residents, for facility and so on. So what makes it different is charter schools, which, by the way, there's only legislation for charter schools in Alberta. No other province or territory has provision for charter schools in Canada. But charter schools are intended to be schools of choice that are model schools that other school divisions, public school divisions, can look to for innovation about how education could actually be more successful. You have to prove that it's not available, it's a program that's not available in any other school in the geographic area, which I didn't think I was doing my research at the time. We've stood beside each other on a stage for a number of graduations. I always think it's important to try your best first within whatever is existing. I tried that. It's not the place for it. It hasn't worked well. So here I am with a small group of individuals from the community, educators, parents, grandparents, ready to start a small charter school. That's an Indigenous charter school, as Wendy indicated, was named Roots of Resilience Charter School. When I was doing some of the research recently about charter schools, because I actually was the founder of the only other Indigenous charter school that ever existed back in 2003. I'm getting old, but I think I still have one left in me, so I think we're good. That charter school closed last year. It was heavily dependent on, so it ran for 21 years. I only was there for 5 years because I was there to help build the model. The communities ran it. It was heavily dependent on reserve students at Paul and Alexis First Nation. So I understand that one closed. Public schools, same requirements, same funding, school of choice for parents. I have always been a believer, whether it's as part of a larger education system. Education is by my background, by the way. I've been a teacher, principal, superintendent, on and off reserve. I've always been a believer that we should do the best we can so parents want to bring their children rather than force people to take their children to the only alternatives that there are in a particular area. So we have been very clear that, and Alberta Education agrees that there's nothing like it in this geographic area. We have to show that we will improve student learning, how we'll prove it, and how we'll measure that. To that end, I believe in your packages you have the letter of collaboration and partnership from the University of Alberta. Faculty of Education is working with us. Sorry, I'm a little distracted by that. They're partnering. They've done all the independent research to back up the need for this school. They've also made a commitment to professional development. The Aboriginal Teacher Education Program that exists at the University of Alberta had a question last week at the town presentation that I didn't have the answer to, but I have it for you. There are currently 240 Indigenous teacher candidates in the ATEP program at the University of Alberta. They are very excited, and you'll see in their letter that they fully intend to place as many student teachers as they can in our school, because to date they haven't been able to find good placements for Indigenous teacher candidates. So we're very excited about that, because although we are proposing and have been able to financially prove that it's viable, that we would have a maximum of 15 children in a class, which is almost unheard of, but it's important, that we would also then have student teachers with our classes as well. The University of Alberta Faculty of Education is also committed to working with us on the proof, so that we can show the ministry after 5 years. For charter schools, the first charter is approved for 5 years. And after that, if you show success, then you can get a second charter for 15 years. So that is what we're looking at right now. So people ask, well, what is an Indigenous approach to education? Well, it's around, first of all, holistic education, where we focus on the individual child, their learning styles, their needs, their interests, their families, academically or mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Lots of land-based learning. We have a letter now of support from the town of Drayton Valley. We're looking at the CETC because, as you are probably aware, there's vacant space there. There's enough vacant space there for us to start. We intend to start with a small group of maybe 60 students, 60 to 70 students. Our projected growth is to 80 students year 2, 90, 100, and 110. We are being modest in that because we want to make sure that our projections, we are erring on the side of caution. But our Secretary Treasurer, who has kindly stepped up, because all of this is volunteer, by the way, charter school boards must be volunteer. So those of us who are on the charter board do not receive compensation. We're here on volunteer basis. So we have been very fortunate that a retired finance officer from the Ministry of Education has kindly stepped forward. We did offer to pay him out of our pockets. He has kindly stepped forward to be our Secretary Treasurer until we have final approval, which makes us very happy because I don't know about you, but finance is not my forte. So he has done all the work to show that for the ministry that that's viable. I was actually really interested to hear this presentation before us because there are many, many organizations, groups within the county and the community that we will be collaborating with. We've had talks with Northern Lakes College as well because, of course, you know, they deliver some of the programming within the facility. Oh, I just want to not take up your whole life, so I'm just trying to keep it tight here. We are also in discussion with a local child care provider that's really interested because we want to make sure that we provide child care within the program so that the younger siblings of the children that are in the school as well as the staff can go to school within that family context and be part of the cultural activity, excuse me, as well as the outdoor land-based facilities and work. And when I say the land-based facilities, we also are partnering with Roots of Resilience Education Foundation that already has 5 teepees. We've got partners that have Métis trappers tents and so on. And So that's kind of the high points that we wanted to share with you before we submit to the minister, as a courtesy, setting up in your territory. And also, again, as I indicated, hoping that we might get a letter of support from you. Sheesh.
All right. There's a request for a letter of support. That's something that we've given out to many groups in the past. It's not a commitment of funding or anything. It's just a letter of support to help them on their way. Donna?
I move that
Did
Brett.
you want to say something, Glenn, or?
That's a question, I guess.
Yeah, maybe I'll get the question out first, Donna.
This is a great idea. As far as the center goes, that it has some issues, I guess, for schooling little kids. It has a big pond in the back. Is that going to have to be fenced off, or has any thought been put into how to secure that school? It's going to need a playground, of course, and maybe a sports field or something. Was any thought put into that?
So I'm not going to indicate which school division because we haven't finished our discussions yet. But we've got a meeting coming up this week. So we're looking at using other facilities for phys ed. When we started Mother's Children's Charter School, we were in Wabman and used the Tri-Leisure Center in Spruce Grove, so you can imagine the cost of transportation there. There's lots of facilities in the town already. As far as safety, we have to provide all of that information to Alberta Education and meet those requirements. I'm not convinced yet. We'll see what the families and that bring their children are choosing, but we are not necessarily convinced that we would have your typical playground because we can go places for that. We can go to Lions Park. We can go lots of places for that. But we will be looking at a more nature-based environmental learning type play area in that space. Lots of, as I said, outdoor activities, but we have to provide all of those provisions for both the grounds and the building for the safety of the children. Yeah. Which, of course, when I say we have to, I just want you to be assured it's not that we don't want to. Obviously, my grandson's going to be in that school, so we want to make sure he doesn't drown or any of the other children.
That was key for me, was that pond seems dangerous. You know, there's not too many of them that are around a school with small kids. Yeah. So this school is also open to everybody, correct? It's not just Métis or Treaty 8, it's everybody. So,
yes,
yeah.
And I'm actually really glad you brought that up because we've had parents that have reached out with a couple of questions. One, we have parents who have either adopted or fostered children, or parents who have been dispossessed of that connection to their culture within their own biological family that have indicated, you know, they've said, well, we're Cree or we're Indigenous or whatever they know so far in their family, or I've got children that are Indigenous, but I don't have their status number. In education, in Alberta education, it's about self-identification. So people will identify their children as First Nation, Métis. I think we have a couple of Inuit actually in the area, status or non-status, and that's for self-identification for Indigenous funding, First Nation, Métis, Inuit funding. But any students, any family who feel that their children would benefit from this approach, we will absolutely accept. Yes.
The Indigenous part, I'm really quite interested as far as the nature-based. There's so many healing herbs and shrubs and things like that. Is that stuff you could take them out, like horsetail and wintergreen, and you know, there's so many things that are out in our forests that are pretty amazing shrubberies and herbs and those types of things. So that's the stuff they'd be learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because the ministry asks, will there be additional curriculum that's outside of the Alberta Program of Studies? But if you're good at it, you don't need to take that outside of. Those things can all be found. Even the pond, we want to make sure it's safe, but there's wetlands sections of the curriculum that other people have to travel really far to get to. If we've got a place that's fenced off and safe, but still have access to for the children when they're supervised for that. But absolutely, there's places all through the curriculum where we can deliver that actually with kids going out on the land with elders, with knowledge keepers, and with other people. And it's a real two-eyed seeing approach. So blending Western and Indigenous science, Western and Indigenous education in all of those areas together, because that's how our kids will be most successful.
Right, it's good that you're putting roots down, and I'm glad we're branching out into a new school type. I can go on with a lot of other puns, but maybe I'll just leave. All right, thanks for your presentation. So your ask was?
A letter of support.
Just a letter of support for now. All right, Donna.
I move that Brazeau County give a letter of support to the Roots of Resilience Chartered School Society and send it to Minister Nicolaides?
Actually, you could send it to me. I have to, it'll be a PDF. I won't change your words.
Okay.
But I have to include it in the package. But it will be addressed to I don't know if it's Nicoletti's or
That sounds right.
Nicoletti's.
Yeah.
I never know if that E is.
Okay, correction, send it to Charlene Barehead.
All right.
And I'm excited.
All right. Discussion. All those in favor? How do you vote, Anthony?
In favor.
Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
So instead of the branches of resilience, no, it's not the branches of resilience, it's the roots of resilience, right? I'm getting confused with my own story. And I don't know how it's going to end, so I'm going to stick around. All right. It's 11 o'clock, perfect timing. So right now is public input time right now for the public. Be respectful to both staff and the elected officials. Address any of your questions. And hopefully you haven't just got questions, you've got solutions. So the floor is open. Anybody online? Anybody online? All right, anybody in the gallery? All right, well, then we'll come out of public input. That was short. I think that's the shortest one, 2 minutes. All right, Alice, guiding framework policy. Finally, you've only been put off for 2 hours. I know that. All right, well, we'll finish off the planning first. Alice, you'll have to wait.
They won't have to wait long. I'll be very quick. Rezoning application 25A-001, located on pages 60 through 72 of the agenda package, has been submitted to rezone approximately 12.21 acres from agricultural to agricultural holdings within a portion of Southwest 1349-6 west of the 5th Meridian, which would allow for the subdivision of an equally sized parcel. A public hearing for this bylaw has been scheduled for March 4th, 2025 at 10 a.m. The subject lands are located immediately east of Highway 759 and immediately north of Township Road 492, from which the proposed parcel will have access. And that land location map is on page 62. The proposed rezoning is consistent with the county's municipal development plan, and the lands do not fall within any intermunicipal development plan or area structure plan. Policies are reflected in appendices E and F on pages 68.
You know what? I've got to step aside here.
72. Okay.
I've got to step aside on this here. It's right kitty corner to one of my quarters. So because you're dealing with this, I'll declare pecuniary and what's the other one? Huh? Conflict, yeah. Oh, I get coffee.
Carry on, thank you.
So the recommendation is that first reading be given to bylaw 1201-25 for the rezoning of approximately 12.21 acres from agricultural to agricultural holdings within a portion of Southwest 1349-6 west of the 5th Meridian. Thank you.
I'll go to council first. Are there any questions or comments for administration? Hearing none, seeing none.
I'm
Councillor
prepared to
Heinrich.
make a motion.
Yep. Go ahead, Councillor Heinrich.
I move that council give first reading to bylaw 1201-25, proposing part of Southwest 1349-6 west of the 5th, 12 acres or 4.9 hectares, be rezoned from agriculture to agricultural holdings as shown on attached Schedule A.
Any questions? Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Councillor Heinrich, how do you vote?
In favor.
Councillor Westerland?
In favor.
Thank you, that's carried. Reeve Guillaume, you may re-enter the council chambers, please.
Good. I'm just going to ask a question, not about the particular application, but the policy that we just passed, that Cody had put forward. Does that take into effect right now, or does it take, like, this application was applied for in the past, so does that new policy apply to this applicant? Huh?
Once you sign it.
Oh, alrighty. So, but the point is that that doesn't take effect on this particular application. So anything that's been applied for or in the works right now is immune from that devastating policy. All right. Okay, no, I just wanted to just clarify that so the public knows that that policy takes in effect once it's signed. All right. How about we try Alice and ASB?
Okay. Good morning, Reeve and Council. I'm here to present the Alice 1 Guiding Framework Policy on page 101 of your agenda. So at the February 6th Alice PAC meeting, there were two motions made with requests to have changes to the Alice 1 Guiding Framework Policy. The first one was to increase the maximum fencing cost to $15 per meter, and the second one to clarify that items ineligible for funding include the drilling costs associated with water wells. So just a little background on this.
You know what, Nancy, because I've had a project in the past, there could be monetary ramifications to me making a decision on the items that you're bringing forward. So I have to step aside. So I'm going to miss the presentation.
Bart, are you declaring a pecuniary interest?
Yes, he is, Anthony. Okay, I'll assume the chair. Carry on, Nancy.
Okay, thank you. So just to clarify, there are no proposed changes to the text of the policy. It's only to Appendix A of the policy. And if you flip to page 109 of your agenda, you will see those proposed changes as marked in red. So the first one, our current cap on fencing materials and labor is $8 per meter, and we are proposing to change it to $15 per meter. So with just the increase of general supplies across the board in the last few years, I had provided some background information to the PAC. So for example, a 7-foot treated wooden fence post in 2016, that cost $7.29 per post. In 2020, it went up to $8 per post. Now, as of 2024, it was $13 per post, so it has almost doubled in that time frame. Also, double-strand barbed wire 400-meter roll, it was $65 per roll in 2016. Today, that's $150 per roll. So very significant changes there. So the only changes we had done to this in the past was originally it was $7 per meter in 2016, In 2021, we changed it to $8 per meter. We are now proposing to change it to $15 per meter. And I have talked to some other Alice coordinators as well, and our neighbor to the north, Parkland County, they are currently at $15 per meter as well. The other change suggested is just clarification around ineligible items. So in the past, we had said that water wells are not eligible for compensation. So we're just clarifying that is the drilling of the water wells is not eligible for compensation. So a producer could put on a solar system or a pump and pressure system onto an existing drilling well, and then we would do 50% of that cost. And just to clarify, back to the fencing issue, this is a cap that is put in place, so it doesn't automatically give the producer $15 per meter payable. It's only if they reach that cap. As in terms of financial implications, there would be no financial implications to the county. If we did find that we needed more funding for our ALICE program, we would approach ALICE National for additional funding. So we are recommending on behalf of the ALICE PAC that Council approves the ALICE 1 guiding framework policy as presented.
All right, thank you, Nancy. Does any council members have any questions or comments?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
To Nancy, does other PAC groups like the one at Parkland County or otherwise, do they pay for the drilling of water wells?
Through the chair to Councillor Heinrich, I am not certain about that. I could do some research into that, but I will decline to comment on that because I'm not 100% sure if they do. Sorry?
This is a significant cost increase that we'll be funding, and we need to make sure that our future coverings of these additional types of costs are going to be available to us, well, either through ALICE or through some other funding source by donators, because we don't want to be taking on additional costs for the future that we now become insolvent.
Through the reef to Councillor Heinrich, I do want to clarify that the part with the drilling of the water well, that is an ineligible cost, so that is something that we would not support. We would not support the drilling of it, but we would support a solar system on it or a pump and pressure system on it. And the reason we don't support the drilling of it is because there are other programs such as the SCAP program that do support the drilling of water wells, so we didn't want to overlap programs.
Does that answer your question, Anthony?
No, because I see on page 109 it says ineligible, so I guess what I'm trying to make sure I understand clearly. So I think I see and I hear Nancy saying that we are not in favor of covering drilling costs, and that's what's being put into the policy on page 109.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. I misunderstood, so that's why I wanted clarity.
Anybody else have any questions or comments for Nancy while we have her? There's a yes from Councillor Brooks. Go ahead.
Hello. So I guess this is more of a question generally about ALICE, so my understanding is that the money that funds this program comes from a third party. So it's not us. And so what I was kind of wondering is, why are we the ones setting the rate as opposed to a central board or association? Or I don't know if there's even an answer for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Brooks, you are correct in that most of the funding comes from a third party. That money funnels through Brazeau County, so we are in care and control of that money, and we are the ones deciding how much money to put out. We actually do the checks to everybody. Now, the beauty of the ALICE program is that it is community developed and farmer delivered, so that is why we do have our Partnership Advisory Committee that is responsible for setting those rates. It's not the ALICE National program that does it. Every different program has the ability to set the rates that are proper for their community.
Any other comments or questions? One more, just one.
So it's probably a dumb question. Actually, I know it's a dumb question. I don't know the answer still. We want to change the maximum cap for fencing costs from $8 to $15, so why not $100? If it's not our money, like why don't we just take it all? You know what I mean? So I'm just having a little bit of trouble wrapping my head around the program.
Through the chair to Councillor Brooks, we still do have a duty to be responsible with the money, even though it is not necessarily our money. Sometimes there may be some funds that do come out of Brazeau County money if there's a project that doesn't qualify for this Alice National funding, or we don't have enough funding from Alice National. It would potentially be some Brazeau County funds that are used for it, and we do have a duty to be responsible and reasonable with that. So that is why we've set the rate of the maximum of $15 per meter.
All right, so in regards to water wells, the well itself, the drilling, but maybe the casing or the pump or the testing and that kind of stuff after is potentially covered through Alice?
Through the chair, yeah. The pump and pressure system. So the pump, the casing. We haven't written out a specific list of what it would entail in that, but if we did have a producer that wanted to put a pump and pressure system on, we would get them to list out all the details of that, and then our PAC would still have to look at that and decide how much of that they wanted to cover. If there wanted to be a maximum to it, it would still be the decision of the PAC. It wouldn't automatically just get paid.
Yeah, SCAP will give you the opportunity to cover the costs, a portion of the cost at least of the well drilling. Do you know how successful applications have been in that?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about the water component of it, but the SCAP program in general has been very, very successful, and they run out of money very quickly. They opened up their program just a couple of weeks ago, and in the past, by May, they were fully subscribed to their program, so they are very popular programs.
Perfect. All right. Direction from council? What would you like to do? Councillor Wiltsey, go ahead.
I move that council approves the Alice 1 guiding framework policy as presented.
Gotcha. Is there any discussion? I just have to add that Thursday night you have an Alice Ralph informational session coming, and everybody's invited.
Correct.
Yeah, fantastic. Thursday night, I think it's 7 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock here. Okay. Any other discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Councillor Heinrich?
In favor.
Thank you. Councillor Westerlund?
In favor.
Right, the motion's carried. Thank you. Reeve Guillaume, will you please enter council chambers? Re-entry.
Oops.
I'll gladly turn the chair back over to Reeve Guillaume.
All right, we'll call the meeting back to order. You guys finished with the Alice Guiding Framework. Community Services, Lee, take her away.
Okay, so page 110 of your agenda there. So during the February 4th, 2025 regular meeting of council, the following motion was made, moved by Cody Brooks to add to the next agenda the FIN 7 policy for update. So as council is aware, community organization funding policy FIN 7 allows for administration to approve event funding requests up to maximum $1,000. Previously, administration sought clarification in that limit, including in-kind requests, which allow for the organization to apply for both in-kind and cash. The following resolution passed during the April 20th, 2021 regular council meeting, moved by Mark Gressler, that within the FIN 7 policy, the maximum amount is $1,000 for monetary and $1,000 for in-kind event. Since 2021 resolution, administration has noted that in-kind requests for events are regularly over the $1,000 administrative threshold. When a request is received that exceeds the administrative approval limits, the application is brought forward to council for a decision. Historically, in-kind support in the past for past events such as the 4-H Achievement Day, DV 100, DV Triathlon. Costs associated to these events range from $1,300 to $2,100. Typically, there are 2 to 3 event applications that request in-kind support. Looking to streamline the application process, administration recommends setting a separate approval limit for new and repeat in-kind requests. So if you actually turn to page 121 of the agenda, or page 10 of the FIN 7, you will see under community events policy, if you go down to number 6, assistance provided by the county may be through provisions of funds and or in-kind donations. Maximum annual funding available per organization for a community event is $1,000. Administration is recommending maximum annual in-kind funding available per organization for a community event is $1,000 unless the event is a regularly occurring annual event and has received support in the past. And then maximum in-kind funding for repeat applications is $2,500. Administration's thinking as far as just doing it as a new request is just that, you know, it shows what council is providing to the community, and it shows you the support that council is providing. The ongoing requests, I think everybody knows, and I asked Councillor Brooks, I think this is what you're asking to bring back, if we've captured what we wanted here. So currently there's $20,000 budgeted for in-kind support. And if you go back in 2022, we had 8,213 in-kind, 2023, 3,421, and 2024 was the same. The reason for the drop, if you ask that question, is noted that the DV 100 and the triathlon, they're not running it anymore, so that's why it's dropped.
So there's just that one change,
Yep, that's the only change, yes.
and that's for in-kind. How do we budget in-kind? I mean, if we're gonna use a skid steer, do we charge it at $120 an hour, or?
I know they have some fees established already for certain pieces of equipment, so we always send this piece to Public Works and they piece it out for us. And of course, as always, it's been going up every year, of course.
Okay, what's your wishes, councillors? Glenn?
I move the council approve the community organization funding policy FIN 7 as presented.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
How do you vote, Anthony?
In favor.
Did Dallas make any mistakes? No. No? Just me? It's all me, eh? All right. Go ahead, stick around, Lee, just for a second.
Yeah, so Mr. Chambers, if, would it be prudent for us to rescind 362-2104 motion by Mr. Gressler, or is that, we'll just supersede that with this action?
Yeah, it was for clarification, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, good question.
We were probably safe to make a motion to approve the new policy.
I think so.
It'll only
It's
take
okay.
a couple of minutes. Are you gonna make a motion, Dallas?
I was just gonna move to rescind that motion if that was a requirement, but if it's not, I think we've adopted the changes. Okay. So we'll never have to use that motion ever again?
No, I won't
Okay.
bring it, I promise not to bring it, you know.
Okay, fair enough. No further questions.
Okay, bank reconciliation, Colin? Kinda missed you, haven't seen you for a while.
Thanks. Appreciate that, thank you.
I know, but my aim is getting better.
Yeah. Well, good morning, council. As mentioned on page 128 of your agenda, you'll find the bank reconciliation as of December 31st, 2024. If council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I would ask that it is received for information.
Councillors, what's your wishes?
I can move.
Okay, thanks, Kara.
I can move the bank reconciliation for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's good. Are you dealing with the, oh, no, you're not dealing with the same issue. Manufactured homes, community taxation bylaw.
Good morning, Briefing Council. I am here to present a request for decision regarding the manufactured home community taxation bylaw. I just want to, can I control it right here?
Yeah, just,
The motivation for this bylaw is to help eliminate the risk of having to write off uncollected taxes from manufactured homes that were moved from the lot, leaving no ability to collect unpaid property taxes. This bylaw will also help us prevent taxing the incorrect owners as we rely on up-to-date monthly ownership lists from the manufactured home community owners. It will also help prevent manufactured homes from going into tax recovery process or from the county from taking ownership. What the manufactured home bylaw will accomplish is change the primary assessed person to the community park owner and the secondary person to the manufactured home owner. This means the park owner will be responsible for the property taxes of each trailer. The trailer parks that will be affected are Poplar Ridge Trailer Park and Country Style Trailer Park. The purpose of this bylaw would be to hold manufactured home community owners liable for making sure property taxes are paid on trailers in their community. This will hold the community park owners accountable as they are not complying with the MGA Section 436.24 in providing correct owner information. Currently, there's about 20 municipalities that have either implemented this bylaw or working towards one. And the current issues we are dealing with as of right now are with 2 manufactured home lots that, as far as we know, from the most recent update from the park manager, are vacant. However, we are receiving tax inquiries about the yearly tax levies from the current trailers on the lot. I have tried multiple times reaching out to the park owner with no response.
wow.
This bylaw will take effect in the 2027 tax year, allowing time for manufactured home community owners to implement any changes necessary. The manufactured home community owners will not be responsible for any prior year balance, as administration will not transfer accounts in arrears until they have been resolved. Both manufactured home community owners and manufactured home owners will still receive a tax notice. As it stands, the 2024 assessment value for manufactured homes is roughly $12 million. The 2024 property taxes was about $55,000. The taxes range from each trailer court, Country Style averaging to $267 per trailer, and Poplar Ridge at $192 per trailer. In 2023, we had to write off just over $2,000 in uncollected taxes. This is due to trailers being relocated or removed from the premises without manufactured home community owners informing us prior. We have $27,000 of outstanding taxes for manufactured homes and currently 10 homes in the tax recovery process. The problems that arise with the tax recovery is the incorrect manufactured home owner information, park owners left with unpaid lot rent that accumulates while dealing with manufactured homes, and manufactured home owners sign up for tax payment agreements on outstanding taxes without any intention of maintaining payments. Our recommendation is for council to direct administration to prepare the bylaw to make the manufactured home community owner an assessed person on the assessment roll for the manufactured homes in their community. To accomplish this, a bylaw is required as the Municipal Government Act, Section 304 states, recording assessed persons. The name of the person described must be recorded on the assessment roll as the assessed person in respect of the assessed described property. Assessed property, a designated manufactured home on a site in the manufactured home community, and any other improvements located on site and owned or occupied by the person occupying the designated manufactured home. Assessed person, the owner of 1, the designated manufactured home, or 2, the manufactured home community if the municipality passes a bylaw to that effect.
This slide provides a timeline for the bylaw. The next step is to send out information packets to manufactured home owners and community owners, then public consultation, report our feedback to council, address any concerns, have a second and third reading, provide notification to manufactured home owners and mobile home community park owners of changes and dates, and finally implementation in the 2027 tax year.
I'm just concerned that we're predetermining that there's going to be changes made. I'm thinking from a legal point of view, and I may be wrong, is those last two maybe shouldn't be put on there, because there may be not any changes and there may be no implementation. But if I was a lawyer, which I probably should have been, instead of being a farmer, I would say that those two at the end there is predetermining the outcome of the public notification. So I think that that should be removed. It's the normal fallout of what would happen anyway without predetermining it and saying it. Go ahead, Colin, if you got a...
Yes, no, do that, just to the reeve there. Yeah, so this is just kind of the flow of events as to if everything went to plan, this is how it would go. But you're right, yes, if it stopped, you know, in its tracks at some point, then that would be the end of that. So just kind of a start to finish picture, just to give council a bit of an idea on the timing and the events that would take place.
Dallas?
Yeah, I think my question is similar to yours. Why 2027? Why not effective at implementation?
Through the chair to Councillor Ekstrom. The timeline gives the manufactured home community park owners the time to implement any changes they need to collect the taxes ahead of time, and we have to give them about 12 months.
So we have to give them according to the Municipal Government Act?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because you are very kind and generous by doing that. Okay.
Yeah, you understand my thinking there. I guess in one way, this is kind of an incentive policy for the trailer park owners to make sure they get the taxes that are due from the, so do they collect those taxes and submit them all?
Yeah.
And the taxes back.
Oh, so that's how this new policy will work?
Correct. So yes, as Councillor Gunnarsson mentioned there. So essentially right now, mobile park owners are assessed for the land for which their operations conducted on, but the individual manufactured home owner is given the separate one just for the improvements, not for the land. And so right now with this bylaw, this would enable kind of a one point of contact. So we would send the mobile park homeowner the taxes for the area as a whole, and then they would be, as they're collecting lot rent and things like this, they would be collecting the rent at this, or the taxes at the same time as well too.
I guess that'd be the same as a farmer that's got a trailer on an acreage, and the farmer has to collect the whole taxes, both for land and for the trailer, if that's part of their agreement. Okay.
Yeah,
so it
that's
just puts
exactly
it in the same realm. I'm just wondering, because they're not subdivided, do we have legal ability to do that?
I was just to the reef. If council approves the bylaw, then we are legally allowed.
Sorry, I can't. Are you in a microphone there or not?
So I'm just quiet. If council approves the bylaw, then we are legally allowed to change the assessed person to the community home owner or park owner.
Yes, technically right now as a municipality, we're collecting on their behalf essentially, whereas it is a for-profit organization that they're having in place here. And so a lot of the issues, as Jenik had mentioned as well too, is we have once a property or a trailer is in tax or liens placed on it, residential properties have the tax notification put on title, but for mobile homes we just put a lien on the title. And when a lien is put on title, that mobile home is not to be removed from the park without that being paid and discharged out. So lots of the issues we have are the trailers are disappearing off the lots, and we are being left with taxes in arrears that we are then having to write off, where if we had this in place, then as well the owner of the mobile park there would have an interest making sure that the way things are done are followed correctly, so then everyone's made whole and then they can remove that property legally.
So no midnight movers.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So
All right.
go ahead, Anthony.
staff. So, in the event that individuals, I assume, will still be getting their individual trailer assessment done by the assessors, and if they wish to appeal it because they don't agree with the assessed value, that process still exists for that trailer owner?
Through the chair to Council Hardwick, yes, you are correct. Yeah, the same process will be followed. It's just the park owner will be responsible, but every individual trailer owner will still receive that same information with the same ability to come and speak about their assessment and potentially have that changed.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
You looking for a motion, Bart?
Pardon me, Anthony?
You're looking for a motion?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I move that council directs administration to prepare a bylaw to make the manufactured home community owner an assessed person on the assessment roll for the manufactured homes in their community.
So just on the discussion side, so both the manufactured home owner and the manufactured trailer will get a tax notice?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Am I the only dumb one always asking all the questions? I asked them already? All right, discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, carried unanimous. The RCMP Enhanced Policing Agreement, page 131. There's a letter there. What's that frown for, Dallas? I don't like it. Well, let's make a motion to cancel them. So at least it's limiting to 60,000, right?
How much, Bart?
60,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, but I wanted to make sure I heard you right.
So it's not 2 million or 1 million, 60,000. Don't like it, but go ahead, Cody.
So I might be mistaken. When I read this initially, I was under the impression this was the agreement that we had made with them to get, overtime and that sort of thing in the county. This isn't like what the province was, trying to do the cost share with us sort of thing. Am I mistaken?
Who's their technical advisor on the police?
This is our, this is up and above what we provide for RCMP.
Right. So this
and
is
provincial.
But Cody's asking, was it a Brazeau County request for this, or was it just a?
Yes.
Or was it
That's what
I
to the provincial?
Anthony, please help me out. Anthony, we've been doing
Yeah, we
this,
asked for this additional level of service because we were having, I'm going to call it, incidents that people we wanted responded to they didn't otherwise have time for.
Okay, we asked for it, we got it.
Got what we wanted. Same as always.
We need a motion then. Go ahead, Cody.
Motion to receive for information? I think that's all it is. Am I correct? I think I'm right. Yeah. So I move to receive the enhanced policing agreement with the RCMP for Brazeau County for information.
Discussion. All those in favor? Carried unanimous.
Aaron's in favor.
Kara?
In favor.
Anthony?
In favor.
Okay, all right, we got reports, we just need a motion to receive these ones, correct? Glenn, are you making a
I
motion?
move to receive the council reports for information.
Okay, Anthony, thank you. Discussion, all those in favor? How do you vote, Anthony?
In favor.
Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. We've got, I think we've got some additions here, don't we? So we got a motion for councilors to 15B, Meeting dates. I guess maybe we should go to 15A. So meeting dates, Chamber of Commerce Women in Business Workshop, request for Donna Wilsey and Carrie Westelin to attend and exclude the men from this, no. Sorry, I thought I read that here. All right, so a motion to authorize Kara and Donna to attend the Women in Business Workshop. Glenn?
I move to approve the attendance of Councillor Wiltsey and Councillor Westerland to the Chamber of Commerce Women in Business Workshop to bring greetings March 1st, 2025 at the Clean Energy Technology Center.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor, but I am unable to attend.
You won't be?
Yeah, I won't be able to attend. It's my birthday, plus I'm actually at university. I'm taking a course at the U of A, so I'm actually on campus that day, spending my birthday learning.
Your birthday?
Yeah, that's my birthday.
29?
39 plus 2.
And holding.
No, I wish.
All right. There's motion on the floor anyway. We can just accept it the way it is. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Oh, we voted on it? Oh, okay. All right, sorry.
I vote in favor as well.
Anthony.
I vote in favor.
Okay, and Kara?
In favor.
All right. Well, I only made 4 mistakes. I made notes of them. And now we've got 15B. Invitation for council to bring the greetings at the junior lifeguard swim on February 22nd, 2025. Donna wanted to go? In the meet?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so I'll authorize Donna to bring greetings. Executive order?
I move to approve Donna's attendance at the Junior Lifeguard Club swim meet, February 22nd, 2025.
And bring greetings, okay.
And bring greetings.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor.
All right. That's carried unanimous. Was the my attendance at the skating authorized? I don't think so. Oh, it was? Oh, it was, okay. All right, good. You guys are way ahead of me. I don't know when that is.
You're
Actually,
going.
Saturday.
Yeah, it's Saturday. You're going, right?
Saturday at what time?
I think it's
Oh, you already sent it to me? Thank you. I'll look for it. Well, then, we just have the enclosed session. Do you-
And lunch is currently available, Reed, if council wishes.
Okay, we'll do lunch first.
So, when you're enclosed, what time? So I know what time to call in, or is Rudy going to call me, I guess, on his cell phone, because that's the only way we did it before?
Do you want us to save your steak and lobster?
I guess you're going to have to.
I'm going to call the meeting back to order. We left a few items on the agenda, especially the enclosed one, I think is the last one, isn't it? So we need to have a motion to go enclose FOIP 21 land. Cody?
I move to go into closed session for Hilltop Acres FOIP Section 25 and Dunnington Pit Road Use Agreement FOIP Section 25.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote? Anthony? Oh.
They're waiting for the call, I guess, Reed.
Oh, waiting for the call from enclosed. All right, let's head into the enclosed. Okay, Dallas made a motion to come out
No,
of
I didn't.
enclosed.
No, I didn't. I moved that Brazeau County Council come out of enclosed session.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara? Anthony, how do you vote? Closed. Okay, just one motion at a time for each item.
Okay. All right, so I'll move that Brazeau County Council receive for information, that information provided Hilltop Acres.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Anthony?
In favor?
How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. The other item? Cody?
Okay. Just do this one for information as well. I move to receive the Dunnington Pit Road Use Agreement report for information. It's not really a report, but
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor?
Okay. Now, there's only just something that just popped up on my computer. Navigating your cross-border strategy. It's a discussion online in regards to basically what's your relationship with the U.S. trade. It's on the 27th. I don't know if you guys, it's at 1:30 Eastern Time, Thursday, February 27th. I'm not sure if councilors are interested, but there's certainly, I see some value in starting to learn how to negotiate with the U.S. It's happening already with cattle and bison and other products that people use agents to ship animals back and forth, but this is a strategy. I don't know, maybe I was thinking to authorize council to attend, but it's just online. If you guys are interested. It might open up another world of opportunities. Remember I was saying that I was gonna write a letter to Trump, or I thought we should write a letter to Trump from Brazeau County saying Alberta's open for business and we're an opener. Okay. And Christina, you sent me this. So did you send it to all the other counselors? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's, it could be interesting. Sure. Is that okay with you folks out there? And Anthony?
I'm not sure that I see what you're speaking of, Bart, but maybe if you could tell me where to look to find it?
Yeah. Yeah, Tina said check your email. She sent it to all the counselors.
Well, I might have missed it because I don't see it. I'm checking my email now as she's talking, or you're talking.
Okay, we can...
Maybe she can resend it.
We can resend it to you. Kara, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right, it'll have to be ratified for next, unless you want to make a motion today to approve, authorize council to attend.
We got more than enough time. I move to add, just sorry, what was it titled through the email?
Navigating your cross-border strategy.
Okay, I move to add navigating your cross-border strategy session to the agenda.
Discussion, all those in favor? How do you vote, Dallas, or Kara?
In favor.
Anthony, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, now we need a motion to authorize councilors to attend. Donna?
I move to authorize counselors to attend the Navigating Your Cross-Border Strategy meeting.
It's at 1:30, but you'll get that in Tina's email. All right, discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Anthony?
In favor.
Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Who was, Cody was against? Boy, wait till Trump hears about this. All right. Is there anything else? Is there anything on the agenda, folks?
Can you get some?
No, sir.
Then a motion to adjourn.
I move that